Okay, we're going to be dividing complex numbers today, and you do that with a conjugate. Just like we had conjugates with radicals, we have conjugates with complex numbers. So, a pair of complex numbers both having the same real part, but with imaginary parts with equal magnitude but opposite signs. So, here is an example. 3 plus 4i and 3 minus 4i are conjugates of each other. The only part you're changing is this part, the plus and the minus. So even if I have a negative 5 minus 2i, I keep my negative 5. The real part stays the same, but I change the sign between the real and imaginary part. So this becomes plus. Okay. So all we're doing right now is just saying, what is the conjugate? Well, the conjugate of 4i, this is the same as seeing 0 plus 4i, and you change it to a negative. So the conjugate of 4i is negative 4i. The conjugate of negative 3i is positive 3i. You just change that sign with the imaginary part. Okay, the conjugate for 3 plus 6i is 3 minus 6i. The conjugate for negative 2 minus I is negative 2 plus I. All right, now, what do we do? Why do we need a conjugate? We use that to help us divide complex numbers. You do not leave a complex number with an I in the denominator. So what you have to do is you have to multiply by the conjugate. That's what that's called, rationalizing the denominator. So my denominator here is 4i. So I'm going to multiply by negative 4i over negative 4i. So negative 4i times 3 is negative 12i. Negative 4i times negative 3i is positive 12i squared. Keep in mind that I squared is negative 1. So when you do that, this part right here becomes negative 12. And we put the real part in the front. And then minus 12i, that goes here. All right, now we do the denominator the same way. 4i times negative 4i is negative 16i squared, right here. I squared is negative 1. Negative 16 times negative 1 is positive 16. And then we have to simplify. Because 12 and 16 all have a common factor of 4, then we take 4 out, and that leaves us with negative 3 minus 3i over 4. Now, I know I'm finished because I do not have an I in the denominator. Okay. Here's another example. We've got 2 minus 4i over 7i. So I'm going to multiply by negative 7i over negative 7i. That is the conjugate of 7i. So my numerator, negative 7 times negative 2 is positive 14i. Negative 7i times negative 4i is positive 28i squared. The I squared becomes negative 1, making this negative 28. And then I have negative 28 plus 14i here. All right, my denominator up above, 7i times negative 7i is negative 49i squared. Put in a negative 1 for the I squared. That becomes positive 49. Now, again, I have to simplify all the way. So these three numbers have a factor of 7, so I simplify by the 7, and that gives me negative 4 plus 2i over 7. Okay, now I have a little bit harder problem. I've got 8 plus 7i over 3 minus 4i. So the conjugate is 3 plus 4i over 3 plus 4i. I multiply by the conjugate. Then I multiply my numerators, multiply my denominators, and simplify again. That's my steps. So I've got 8 plus 7i times 3 plus 4i. And you have to distribute the 8 plus 7i times both of these. That's why I've got it written this way. So that gives me 24 plus 32i. And then 7i times 3 gives me 21i. And 7i times 4i is 28i squared. I squared is negative 1, which makes this negative 28. Now I have like terms with 24 and negative 28, which is negative 4. And then 32 and 21 are like, which is 53i. So I've taken care of my numerator now, and now I'm going to take care of my denominator. My denominator is 3 minus 4i times 3 plus 4i. So we come down and we take care of our denominator, and we do that math. 3 times 3 is 9. 3 times 4i, taking it times this. 3 times 4i is 12i. We come over, we do the same thing here, and it's written here. But negative 4i times 3 is negative 12i. Negative 4i times 4i is negative 16i squared. Again, I squared is negative 1. So negative 16 times negative 1 is 16. So I put 9 and 16 together, which gives me 25. And what is supposed to happen here did happen. The middle terms become 0. That cancels out the I. So I no longer have an I in my denominator. So my numerator is negative 4 plus 53i. My denominator is 25. And if this simplified, I would simplify it. It does not. Thank you.